Hey, so today there's a really efficient solution for length of the last word. So we're given a string and we have to return the length of the last word in the string. It's pretty trivial with an example like this, hello world, and you can just return this last word as soon as you hit a space. And you can have a counter to iterate until you hit that space. But it can get a little more tricky on when you have an example like this. So I'm going to explain my solution for this. So you can do the most trivial one, and that's do arrays.split, and that sets every single word into its own little array. So it'll be like fly, and then the first index, so 0 index, me, this will be the first index, and so on. And then you can just return the last index. That is quite slower than the solution we're going to do. So, back to it. We're going to iterate from a fundamental low level. We're going to iterate until we hit a space, and we're going to have a counter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit a space, return 5, which is what it is. Cool. But if you have an example like this, where it starts off with spaces, we're going to have a Boolean trigger. So as soon as we hit a real number, a real character, we're going to set the trigger to start the count. So let's just say we have a little switch and up. Ooh, oh no. So here's our little switch, and it's down right now, and it's going to look. It's going to hit a character, and it's going to be on. And then it's going to go, cool, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit a space, and we're done. So let's go ahead and code that. Because this one is essentially, it is a loop, an O of n loop, with a bunch of O of 1 conditions, which is a lot quicker and saves a lot more space than an arrays.split. So let's go ahead and into it. So we're obviously going to need our counter, and we said before we're going to need our Boolean switch, and we're going to call that start. So we need our base case. If s.length equals 1, then there's only one character. Then return 1. And then we are going to need to iterate. So I'm going to use a while loop for this, just because I found it a bit easier to approach it than I did try with a for loop, and it's definitely possible. I just think it's a bit easier to tackle with a while loop. So integer I is equal to, since we're going from the back of the array, length minus 1. And while I does not equal minus 1, because we want to go to index 0, so we want 0 to be inclusive, character C is equal to s.char at I. And we're making it a variable because it's quicker to access, because we're going to be writing it out quite a lot in this next condition. So the first condition is if start is false. If start is false and the character we are at is a real character, which means we need to start the count process. So we're going to do, so what did we say before? If start is equal to false, which means we've just been hitting a bunch of spaces, and C is greater than or equal to A, and C is less than or equal to Z. So you can actually do this with characters, which is really cool. So if there's pretty much any lowercase letter in the alphabet, it'll trigger. Absolutely any. So we've done lowercase. Awesome. Now we have to do uppercase. So if C is greater than or equal to A, capital A, and C is less than or equal to Z. Great. I'm actually going to, just so it doesn't get confused, I'm going to pop it in brackets. Yep. So it'll do this one, and then it'll do the brackets. Awesome. So if that happens, we've been hitting spaces, and we've just hit our first character. So start is equal to true. So there's our little on switch, so we can start counting. Trigger, start count. Nice. So next, if start equal true, so our switch is on, and our character does not equal a space, then count plus plus. So that condition is if we are, say, here. So our switch is on, and our character doesn't equal a space. So it's a real character, so we can start adding. So count plus plus. Awesome. Else, true is on. Cool. Else if start equal true, and C and our character does equal a space, then we return count. We've reached the end of our last word. So as we were here, we were counting. Trigger is on, and we hit a space. We're done. We have officially found our word. And then remember, at the end we need to decrement the I. Awesome. And at the end we just have to return count, because it could be a word that has no spaces. Nice. So let's run that. Hopefully we have no issues. Ooh. Awesome. Brilliant. So it beats 100%, 0 milliseconds, and the space complexity is really nice as well, because this one does use arrays.split. So brilliant. Cheers guys, thank you.